The trenches.
I'm from the trenches. The trenches. Why niggas be screaming no love for these bitches? Just fuck on these bitches is always bad bitches. Look, the punching the clock, we need fast cash. Run around like the shit back there. We see it, we want it, we back there. We be on it, I'm shopping, we tag that. I'm from the trenches.
This shit gonna be ghetto as hell.
Man, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of the Trenches Podcast. My name is Mike. I'm here with my co-host Sahe, and we are the Trenches Podcast. And we're here to talk everything sports, news, and well, we may even go into some life advice for some of y'all niggas that need a little bit more out there. Without a little further ado, I'll let Sahe kick it away and just tell us a little bit about himself real quick.
I mean, shit. What is there to say? They already know. You know what I'm saying?
Talk
you know
to
what I'm saying? My name's Sahe, like he said. You know what I'm saying? This is the Trenches Podcast, and you know what I'm saying? That's how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? The trenches. That's how I get down. You know what I'm saying? So this is, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being myself out here. So I mean, if you don't know me, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get to know the kid. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
What's your football team, G? Who you repping out there in the NFL? Let everybody know what your sports lineups are. That's what everybody really want to know. Who you run with? Because we need people to know in advance before seasons get here who you rolling with. Because we don't want people accusing us of being no kind of bandwagon. So we need to go ahead and establish that now. Who you rolling with? Who's your squad?
We are the champions, my friend. You know who I'm with, man. You should have told him, man. You should have told him. We got a Buccaneers fan here. We got royalty in the building.
And you know what? And I don't mean to cut you off, but I just gotta say, I done known you so long, bro. I can vouch for you, bro. You done been a Buccaneers fan. That ain't no news. That ain't no new shit. For anybody that don't know, my dog has been rocking with them dogs since what? Jeff Garcia. Man,
way before that, Sean King.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Warren Sapp, Ward Dunn. That was my first real running back, Ward Dunn. That's when I really fell in love with the team. You know what I'm saying? You got to go way back in, you know what I'm saying, the history books for that one.
See, they ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for the
they ain't ready.
See, we got a whole football season coming. We're gonna get right into it. But man,
right, we got facts and everything for them.
Man, every day. And you know what, we're gonna get into some football talk, you know, in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna definitely talk into it. Real quickly, my name is Mike.
Yeah, season coming up.
Oh yeah, it's coming up quick too. And you know what I'm about. We're gonna get it out.
My bad.
You know, you good. You know, my name is Mike. I'm the resident Cleveland sports fan. I ride for mine, thick and thin. Right now, we currently looking like the team to beat in the NFL, man. We gonna get to it. You know, we might be up with the champions, but I ain't gonna say too much, bro. I ain't going too deep in it because once I talk about my boy Sahe, you know how this could drag on.
Right.
Get into it. We got a whole season coming up, but now
y'all got a lot to prove, though. Y'all got a lot to prove.
Man, we started in the mud. We started from the mud. We getting there. You know, work in progress. But yeah, you know, I love my Cleveland sports, Buckeye fan for sure. Currently located outside of Ohio. Let the rest of the world figure out where I'm at, though. Where he might be at. But yeah, you know, father, love my sports. Politics, I'm not really into. I just like to watch politics. You know, it's kind of like how people like to watch sports. Like, I get entertainments from watching, you know, left side, right side. Like, that shit's just funny to me on both sides. So I don't believe in either side. So I just find my joy and my entertainment in just watching them pick each other apart. You know, go along, get along shit. Shout out to Kwame Brown. Man.
You know, taste of that mama's cooking.
That mama cooking on it real quick. You know how it goes. Man. So, you know, just to kind of get it kicked off, you know, this is our first show. We do have a full lineup for everybody today. We definitely want to get into talking a little bit about the NBA Finals, kind of see where this year's NBA Finals could cement Chris Paul in the NBA royalty forever. Will he forever be remembered as the man that got this close but can never pull through? So we're gonna see what we're gonna see what we get into about that. We also gonna stay on the sports note, not too far from the NBA. Obviously, the Rachel Nichols situation kind of blew up the last couple of days. There's a lot of different reasons that we believe that this kind of unwinded the way it did, and we're just gonna kind of take a look and see what it has to say about sports discrimination, within sports journalism and sports media world. Then we're just gonna kind of bring it all back home, kind of touch bases on the whole Bill Cosby situation. Obviously, Bill Cosby being someone who's been regarded as a social activist. He's also done a lot for the community, not just the Black community, but just investing into people, the children, the future. Obviously with the things that's going on right now, or that he been through in the last few years with his legal issues, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that and see what that says about where we are in society now, as far as the Me Too movement, as well as kind of look into and seeing if maybe there was a little bit more to him being incarcerated than just him going to jail because of something that happened years ago. So we can kind of dig in and see if there was something maybe a little bit more to that. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Man.
Let's go.
Boy. Oh, give me one second to get a swig of this.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. That yak.
You see, that dad life is what you do. You always got to keep the kid. But nah.
I don't know nothing about it, Dad.
Man. It takes a rare breed. It definitely takes a rare breed. Yeah. I will throw that goes out to all fathers, everybody that's parents, grandparents. It take a lot. You don't understand until you become a parent.
Man,
what it should to be a parent. Man, it just that's a whole nother topic. We can get into that. Back to the NBA. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns cruised to a solid Game 1 victory, winning 118-105 over the Giannis led kind of Bucks, I think, out in Arizona yesterday night. Chris Paul's definitely been on a dominant run in the past 2 games. His second straight game, going on 30 points, finishing up with 32 points, 9 assists. Giannis did try to hold them in with a 20-point, 17 boards, albeit in losing. So, Sahe, what do you think this year's NBA Finals is more for Chris Paul's to win, or is it more for Giannis's to lose? What do you think?
Chris Paul's to win, Giannis's to lose. Man, I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
I think it's Chris Paul's to lose, Giannis's to win. Okay. Because really the deck is stacked against Giannis and them boys, for real. You know what I'm saying? The Phoenix Suns is a well-oiled machine, and they hitting on all cylinders. And I just think it's the right moment, the right time for them. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul never been here before. Long storied career. He finally gets there. You know what I'm saying? Everything is lined up. The East is typically weaker than the teams in the West, because the West plays the best competition night in, night out. I think
it's always been
that way for a while. Yeah. Even though the gap is closer.
It's getting there.
You know what I'm saying? It's closer.
Especially with KD going out East helped balance out a lot.
Right. Like, say he would have stayed in Golden State.
Man.
Then, you know what I'm saying? It would have been over for the East, because who would they would have had?
Who would they have?
So I think it's the other way around on that question. It's just what Chris Paul needs. You know what I'm saying? He needs this.
It just feel like the time, right?
So to speak. Right.
It just feel like
it's the time, and it's all right for him. He's got all the State Farm commercials.
Man, everything that you need except the ring.
Yeah,
he had all the commercials.
He's famous with all the stars. This
NBA Player Association president.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
because Drake, he wasn't shouting out just anybody in his first mixtape so far gone.
Man, it's crazy. Just listening to that album.
I got you, homie.
Bro,
I got you.
Literally was just listening to that in the car today. That's so far gone. Yeah. Drake's best album We'll get into that another day, for sure. Because you already know.
When that come on, bro, I know I'm about to be in chill mode. I used to
Bro.
listen to that album over and over, but you're right. We'll talk about that shit.
You definitely, because once I hear that, why do I feel so alone? Man, it's a whole vibe.
Right.
It's a whole vibe. I can agree with that. I definitely like the way that you worded it. I'll take it a little bit further with that. I think it's definitely a situation where Chris Paul has a lot more to lose. I think just strictly off of the fact that Giannis is so young in his career. Something does need to be said about Giannis making it over the hump, I think, to make it to the finals. You know, LeBron didn't win his first finals. KD didn't win his first finals. So, you know, sometimes you got to at least get to the game to get that experience. I think that's going to play a lot for Giannis. Plus, we all saw what happened to Giannis towards the end of last round. I think the injury kind of psychologically did a little bit to him. And I just also think there's a piece of Giannis that still just needs to develop a little bit further before he could really become the face of the NBA that I think they want him to be. But just kind of get back to Chris Paul. Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect for Chris Paul right now. I think the fact that, you know, you look at him teaming back up with Monty Williams. That's where his NBA career started in New Orleans with Monty Williams. I thought it was kind of poetic that he had to come to a team full of young guys with talent, sort of like that team with him, I believe David West, Jamal Mashburn. It was a young Jamal McGlure. That was a young team that Monty Williams had back in New Orleans. And then when you brought in Chris Paul, he instantly got respect from all them guys. And, you know, we watched Chris Paul go through his career. We seen him get into those locker room issues. We saw how it turned out in LA. It had potential. It just was never the chemistry for him. Too many egos in the locker room. You know, then he got to Houston. It was too big of an ego in the locker room, I think, with James Harden. I think the way that Chris Paul plays, someone like Devin Booker was more of a perfect fit. So I think, honestly, like you said, it's really definitely Chris Paul's legacy to lose. If he doesn't win this, I don't think he's going to get back to this point. I don't think he physically could get back this far. I don't think he's physically cut like LeBron or like you know what I mean, like a LeBron or someone that could last out another 82-game stretch and go deep into the playoffs. Couple game sixes, game seven situations. I think we're seeing all of Chris Paul. Like, this is it. Like, CP3 knows this is it.
This is it.
Man, this
like
is it.
Michael Jackson.
Like Michael Jackson.
I don't know, man.
No, don't give it a twist. I don't think he's gonna
repeat.
retire though. I don't think he's like at that retirement point. But I think as far as Chris Paul getting a championship where he can say, this one's mine. Because Chris Paul is in that weird situation where right now he could win this championship and we could all point right at him. And he got Devin Booker and on the floor.
They took out LeBron.
Man.
They took out the Clippers.
And those were two favorites for the season. Both of them were supposed to be.
Those are the two favorites. They can repeat, man. You saying they can't run it back to back if they win this one?
If they win this one, I think it's way too early to talk repeats. Because I mean, you got a whole off season, bro. It's hard to repeat even with a team like a loaded Golden State team.
Kawhi looking for a squad.
That's what I'm saying. If Kawhi goes there, that's an off-season move.
You never
him over the top. Right. So
you never know what
let's say it like this.
Might
it's
do.
Currently constructed. I don't know if a repeat is that easy. I think given another year, depending on people's injuries, because we got to at least say it. You know, injuries this year in the playoffs, and, you know, I really wanted to talk more about this in the playoffs or in our podcast more, was that the fact that the playoffs this year, it seems like the injuries were kind of an underlying theme. Obviously, you know, LeBron, KD, or Kyrie, James Harden, big names, Kawhi, a lot of guys. What is your opinion on, real quick before we switch topics, on how the playoffs were affected by the injuries this year?
I mean, you see it. The
Man.
team that's playing the best ended their season early last year.
Early.
They was one of the only teams that was in the playoffs this year that didn't make the playoffs
Did
last
not
year.
make the playoffs last year.
So they only played what, 8 games in the bubble? They went 8-0.
8-0.
And
didn't make
before
it.
how long was the season how long was the season suspended before they went to the bubble? It was
a minute.
a little while.
Yeah, they did.
It was a little while before they did, yeah.
Right.
So they had a long break. They came back, played 8 games. So they really had a full off season.
And they came in, and I think that's really the thing that LeBron was talking about before the season about the quick turnaround, and he kind of called it out on the money.
For sure.
He called it out on the money because he told people that it's not going to be early on in the season because people still are somewhat fresher. It's going to be towards the end of the season. You're going to start seeing them injuries start popping out. And then
you know what? With professional sports, I like the idea of a quick turnaround. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to keep the hands changing all the time.
I feel like you could get,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's a two-way street. I feel like on one hand, you can get more of the prime of a player when they're playing at a fast rate, but it's a worse health liability. You know what I'm saying? Like we paying a lot of money for these dudes to come out here to be rushing, tear an ACL. Rushing.
I just think it would. I've never thought about it before, but I just think it would make sports mean much more. Like, you know how hard it is to stay on top?
Right.
It would just make staying on top that much harder. Would Tom Brady have 7 Super Bowls? You know what I'm saying? If the seasons had quicker turnarounds.
It would be interesting to think about, like, if sports did end at a lot quicker of a rate, how would that affect? I honestly think, just to kind of speak on that real quick, I think honestly that would shorten a lot of great careers. I think that not everyone's career will be shortened but you got to think everyone don't take care of their body like LeBron or Tom Brady for that matter, because Tom Brady's in fantastic shape for his age. So not everybody does. Or
it could rise up more stars. It could make more stars. Because say you got a star player who you just won the championship with, but in a month or so, you got to go with a whole new season. So you got to maybe think about putting another guy out there.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Just somebody that you had never played before. So I definitely think it would open up more opportunities. But yeah, it'll have to, because we're not gonna let LeBron play 82 game season, go to the playoffs, turn around in a month and a half, 2 months, get back into another 82 game season. Yeah. There ain't no way.
Right.
You gonna end it. That's
you can see. You can really see. You can really see who about that life. You can really see who about that life. It's for the love of the game, man.
We gonna move on and talk about something else, brother. In other sports related news this week, obviously, ESPN has recently revealed that they are going to bench white NBA reporter Rachel Nichols from pregame and halftime coverage of the NBA Finals between the Bucks and the Suns. This obviously came around the time of an alleged phone conversation that was taken between Rachel Nichols and another ESPN executive, kind of slamming former, I guess we could say former at this point, ESPN analyst Maria Taylor, who, if you don't know, is an African American, who was apparently hired on as a token hire, essentially, for the NBA Finals last year in the bubble, just to be blunt. So that's basically the reports. So what do you think? So Sahe, what's going on with all this stuff, bro? Explain your opinion and what you see of this whole situation, and what does that say about what's going on in sports journalism for people of different races and nationalities?
Yeah. It says a lot, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's a big conversation. But at the same time, it's saying a lot of the same things as you know what I'm saying, everybody already know that's going on.
Man,
But it's like it's just getting really thrown in the face now. Like, yeah, this is you know what I'm saying? This is
it's
what
wrong.
it is. It is what it is.
It's right there for you.
And right. And you the crazy my thing is like Rachel Nichols is getting punished for talking about it and pointing it out, but the actual
Talk
thing of it isn't really getting talked about. You know what I'm
at
saying?
all.
It's just like why is this even
It's almost
something
like a
like
distraction
Rachel
in
Nichols
broad
can't
daylight.
talk about it?
It's almost like a
Right,
distraction in broad daylight. You know, like
right,
we're gonna punish you to a degree and make it so severe that people focus on this punishment so much more than the actual issue that we're punishing you about.
yeah,
Or we're
right,
even touching base even to what the issue is in the first damn place. Because that's what I think it really
right.
has to do with. Um, I personally think with the situation, obviously we've been following this story for a while. So we kind of seen this kind of unravel, for a minute now. I think when you talk about someone like Rachel Nichols, I look back at when I was a kid. Like we fell in love with ESPN Sports because of the people that we still watching today, the Stephen A. Smiths, Skip Baylesses, the late Scott Van Pelt's. Those were the people that when I was a kid, we'd get up in the morning getting ready for school, you throwing on Sports Center. And you up there with Stuart Scott showing us what happened at the games we didn't watch last night because we was kids. So like I feel like we built an attachment to these people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's like you built an attachment to him. And then not necessarily Rachel Nichols, I'd say, but just like the network. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like an extended family. We checked in to see what Stephen A. had to say about the game last night. I think the problem came in when we checked in to see what Stephen A. has to say about an athlete's drug addiction or their domestic violence issue or racism in sports. I like doing a podcast because we can be open and talk about whatever the fuck we want, how we want,
Right.
to who we want, no regrets. But when you work for a major network, there's so many other voices that have to be met. So, I mean, at some point, you are going to be dancing on strings. It's just like any job that you do. If your job
Right.
requires you to do something, even if it's against necessarily what you want to do, if you want to maintain that life, you have to go along and get along with whatever they require you to do.
You don't want to say it. You gotta go along to get along, man.
I tried, bro. I tried so hard not to say it, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Right.
I can't even lie to you. But at the end of the day, it's just like a regular job. You got to play a part. So as far as the Rachel Nichols situation, I kind of think it's just a reflection of the conversations we don't have with the coworkers, the friends that we have that are of different nationalities about the uncomfortable things we have to deal with. Like we're not having conversation with our white friends about, well, this is why it's uncomfortable when a cop pulls up behind me. And they don't get it because they're not seeing it through your lens. So when it comes to sports, when we hear or when it comes to like the media or the government or sports, we hear things like, oh, did you hear such and such made this comment? And it's like, well, I mean, eventually, if that's what you believe in, it's going to slip out. But I think it really highlights that just Rachel Nichols knows what's going on at ESPN.
Right.
And I think that's why we can get somebody like Stephen A. Smith to be a black man at ESPN that's the highest paid anchor. But at the same time, we'll make him go out there and slander different athletes, open up the door for people like Max Kellerman, not slandering anybody, but, just open the door for people like Max or other co-anchors to say other things about players that has shit to do with sports, for one. But two, it's almost more like a direct attack. Obviously, the Kwame Brown situation was something that was highlighted, but I think in sports, period, there's just a lot of situations where people were put in situations that affected their livelihoods as far as the sports that was reported by an analyst that doesn't know the situation. So Maria Taylor was just an example of what happens when somebody that feels like they've been slanted because you got an advantage racially for once. Think about it. How ironic is it that you get frustrated if somebody gets an advantage because they're Black? So now we're going to talk about, oh, well, we only know she got it because she's Black. So now we're going to either try to detract her greatness and just say, hey, shout out to Maria Taylor for getting the finals. Instead of just saying that, we're going to pick apart everything that she did to get there. Like, oh, well, you know, had they not needed a Black woman or a Black man to do the finals, like, nah, this is supposed to be the worldwide leader in sports. That's what y'all tell me. Y'all associate with ABC and Disney. You know, that's supposed to be diversity right there. So I feel like it says more about the people that are in charge of these companies and less about Rachel Nichols or Maria Taylor. I just think it's funny that, like you said, how they punished Rachel all in public, you know, kind of gave her a public lashing. But then they didn't step in and say, and we're going to address the issues within our company, within racism.
Exactly.
Because I see a lot of former athletes that are Black, former athletes that covered their sports. And
the thing about the audio that was leaked, it sounded like somebody was behind the wall with, like, you know, the cut up to the wall with a recorder trying to hear what she was saying.
You said it was Maria Taylor,
like somebody
out of the door.
right. Somebody could have baited her into talking about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then it comes out now.
Yeah, and it just came out now, right before the NBA final.
Yeah. Right before the final. And it's not like I'm taking up for Rachel Nichols or anything.
No, not at all.
Like
but
that.
I get it though. I get where it comes from.
But it's just like, man, where is this coming from? And why was she talking about that?
Why didn't they say this months ago? Because if she said it,
right.
Why didn't they report it? So somebody,
right? If it was such a big deal, why? You know what I'm saying? If somebody heard it, and was like, oh my God,
right?
I can't believe she's saying this.
And here's
I gotta tell somebody.
Too. You know, here's a life lesson that I was always taught by my mama, and that's when you go to work, close your mouth. You don't have to go to work and tell everybody your business. Just go to work, close your mouth.
You know what I'm saying?
Just go to work. It's cool to say, hey,
some people was never told that.
Hey, Todd, how you doing? Did you watch the game last night? Man, that was crazy. All right, talk to you later and keep it moving. Don't go to work and talk personal. Don't go to work and talk about politics, religion, racism. Just go to work and do your job. If you have to talk to people at work, just have strictly platonic conversations. Talk about sports, just the actual game. Don't talk about racism. Don't talk about politics, religion. Keep that shit at home. Because I've seen people lose their jobs over talking about religion or politics and racism. You know why? Because once they start talking about it, it all gets wrapped into one ball. Because when a motherfucker start telling you about shit they believe in, they let it all leak out. So they're gonna tell you, and I don't like, and it goes in. You know what I'm saying?
In those god dang old men.
You know what I'm saying? Earmuffs kids.
I can't stand them.
Man.
You know who I'm talking about.
And that's
they're lazy.
That's when
don't want to get a job.
That's when it goes down for sure. Man. That's all I really got to say about that Rachel Nichols situation. For sure.
I always eat chicken. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh.
I'm not going to say it.
Which leads us to today's sponsorship, the Gold Shop. The Gold Shop is a place for you to get the most for your drip and jewelry for the less for your chips. You use our promo code in the comments. You can go and check out your favorite sports teams or your favorite Marvel superheroes. They will have jewelry, pennant charms. Go and order and use our promo code in the comments. Get your drip right. And they will.
Oh yeah.
And they will send it directly to you. My house is a
Get
mess.
that drip,
I'm not going
y'all.
big for my chain right now, but I will be wearing it next episode. Best believe we dripped up next episode, and we bringing a shoe collection out. It's like, nah, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
get that
But
drip, y'all.
nah, definitely in the comments, in the description. I'm sorry, there will be a promo code there and a website link for your up to 15% off of your first purchase. Which is going to bring us to our last topic, kind of just in closing thoughts here before we get up off of here. Sorry, obviously big news last Wednesday. We did talk about Bill Cosby a little bit earlier. It was a big decision. They finally released him. From the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decided to overturn his indecent assault conviction. He was found guilty by the jury. He is now free on a procedural issue that was irrelevant to the facts of the crime. That's per Kevin Steele, the district attorney, that did speak on the situation. Sahe, what's up with this Bill Cosby fiasco, bro? Bring us home.
Man, it's just the same old story, man. They're trying to keep a brother down when a brother trying to come up, man. He wasn't even supposed to be prosecuted for this. He had paid somebody $3 million or some amount of millions to never go to jail on this. I mean, I don't even know, man. Bill Cosby should have never been put back in jail. And I seen some comments about his accusers are outraged, and one of them was like, "Man, I'm beyond tears. I can't even cry no more." It's like, man, is Bill Cosby a threat to society
at this point?
Is right? Is he gonna go back to his old ways? He's saying he was doing it, and the accusations were 40 years ago. Like, what about the time, like, in between there? Was he still doing it? Right. There should be new victims coming forward every day.
This was so stretched out, why were the reports so sporadic? And I don't know. I'll let you continue on that before I close it out. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I ain't got too much, man. It just don't make a lot of sense to me.
Man.
It just, it's probably something going on. Bill Cosby was trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having it. They was like, you know what, you getting too big for your britches. We told you we was dangling this case over your head. And Bill Cosby thought it was too late for him. So he was just like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and wild out, do what I'm supposed to do, or do what I want to do, you know what I'm saying? And they like, nah, we can still get you. You know what I'm saying? And they got him.
And I think,
because you know what I'm saying? I was just going to end it with this.
No, go ahead.
The justice system of America is like the Felice Johnson. Man. When you born, that American justice system or the government and everybody, they like, nah, we like you and we want you. Now either we gonna do this the hard way, easy way, or the hard way. The choice is yours. And your whole life growing up, the choice literally is yours.
It really is.
Either you gonna give it up to them the easy way, or you gonna give it up to them the hard way. You know what I'm saying?
There's really no,
because it's like they say, it's no escape but death and taxes. So it's either you're gonna be paying taxes or you're gonna be locked up on the way to the, you know what I'm saying?
It's going down either way.
To that graveyard. They taking it from you.
And you know, like, and that's kind of really where I'm coming from the situation. I can't really speak and say, you know, was Bill Cosby trying to buy NBC for sure, and was that the reason the allegations came? We may never know. We don't have.
He was probably trying to buy up Church's chicken.
You never know.
Who knows?
He might not have been doing nothing. It might have just been somebody trying to get in for some bread. It's the last minute.
Yeah.
We never really are gonna find out, and I think that's the weird. Like I really wish I could say I took way too much from this situation, and I know that it's probably built up like I can. And I mean, I can honestly say that, you know, this could just be a situation where no matter how powerful and how successful you get as a Black entertainer, politician, celebrity, or Black man, business owner in America, you know, it all can be snatched from you. I could say that. I could say that maybe it has to do with just the agenda of this whole Me Too movement. I don't know if that had a lot to do with it. And that's with all due respect to anybody that is a victim of any type of injustice, sexual assault or any type of vile action like that. That's with all due respect. I just think in America, we're too heavy with agendas. I think there's always an agenda. There's always a new poster child for justice and liberty, and it always gets tied back into money and politics. As far as Bill,
the election seats.
I think back to the Michael Jackson situation, almost to like how when Michael Jackson went through the whole legal thing and how we felt. You know how you felt when you found out the whole Michael Jackson allegation the first time, and all you picturing and thinking about is just this man that had an illustrious, one of the best, if not the best, musical careers, talent-wise, performance-wise, records-wise that we've seen, just fall from grace so heavy with something that we didn't expect. Or it makes you think about the R. Kellys. It makes you think about the Kobes, the late Kobe Bryant. It makes you think of all of these great, athletes and celebrities that have these fall from graces. Some bounce back, some don't. Bill Cosby is somebody that I think we all in our community and childhoods could look up to. I think because of the message of positivity we could take from that situation. All I can really say about the Bill Cosby situation is basically that one thing is be careful out there as young men. On a serious note, when you're dealing with young women in public or even in private, be respectful, be cautious, protect yourself. Don't put yourself in a situation where you think that you could be framed or something you could be taken advantage of. Really take the time to get to know somebody before you put yourself in a situation, especially when drugs, alcohol is involved. Definitely be careful. Never want anybody to get caught up in some mess like that. So I got to say,
Make them sign a contract or something. You know what I'm saying? Was this consensual?
Man,
you got to write it down.
Whatever you got to do, because it's not worth your time. And also
take a picture, hold up 2 forms of ID.
And I want to end that topic on just saying there is a lot of men that have just gotten released recently from jail because of false accusations that have been proven years and years later to have been lies. So I'm going to leave that there. And once again, like I said, if anyone is a victim of anything like that, that's with all due respect. And if there's anyone that has suffered from it, obviously we encourage you to reach out to anyone that you need to speak to get this help and to get through that time and process. To lighten it up a little bit and kind of end on a motivational note before we get up out of here, I would like to share one thing every episode, or you always are welcome to share one thing per episode to help people glow up a little bit, help them put themselves in a better position financially. Real quick, I want to talk to everybody about a website called Amazon MTurk. That's M as in Mary.
Talk about it.
TURK.com. This is real free game. Amazon MTurk is
talk about it
where you as a freelancer, as long as you have an internet connection and a computer. It doesn't work that well on a phone. I'm just going to be honest with you. So this, for people that are phone hustlers only, I'm going to be back for something for y'all. But as far as for people that have an internet connection and a computer, Amazon MTurk is a website to where you can go and do specific online tasks and get paid to do them through Amazon. To kind of elaborate on that, for instance, so if you've ever seen a receipt that's balled up or like a document that's balled up and it's been unwrinkled and it's hard to read and transcribe, people actually need human eyes to read these receipts, because sometimes because of the condition of the receipts, they need a human to look at it because a computer may not be able to actually decipher receipts or documents properly. That's just one of the few things you can do on there. It's really for the hustlers though. It's not for everybody. This stuff's not fun, glamorous stuff. It could be stuff like transcribe this audio. They play an hour-long audio clip. You have to just type up everything that you hear. So anyone that has good typing experience, there's definitely a lot of good work on there. They pay directly to your bank account. It's Amazon. It's not no fishy stuff. It's through Amazon.
That's straight cash, homie.
Easy money. And this is for anybody that thinks they can't get money online. I just want to encourage people. There's plenty of ways to make money online. I've done it. If you put enough streams together and you hustle the right way, you can actually make it a career. But we'll save that for another video for sure. Amazon
Right, for
intro.
sure. So
I will leave a link to the website down in the description below. Sahe, this should conclude our first Trenches podcast. Is there any message you would like to leave for our trench mob? Wow, I think Sahe left us. Not sure if it's because his phone died or computer died, but it looks like he's not here. So this will conclude the first episode of the Trench Mob or the Trenches podcast. We do appreciate you, all of the newly formed Trench Mob. We appreciate you guys sitting through with us. We will be back here soon to talk more about the topics that you guys don't want to talk about, or other people don't want to talk about, or don't want you to hear about. Definitely try to help you guys make some money, improve your qualities of life. Peace, love to everybody and their families. Stay safe. Just keep your eyes open out there. Stay blessed.
The trenches.
I'm from the trenches.